On this episode of the Minds with Hakeem Podcast, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Mike Martin of 5 Rings Financial. On this episode, we did dive into a little bit about what young people should be doing and how important it is to actually get in the game and not sit the sidelines. And Mike shared a bunch of other takeaways. I hope you guys really enjoy and learn from this financial educator on this episode of the Minds with Hakeem Podcast. And we're going in. Welcome back to another episode of the Minds with Hakeem Podcast. Today I have the pleasure of being on here with my friend who gives me a hard time a lot, Mike Martin of 5 Rings Financial. How's it going, sir?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm well. It's been due time for you to be on the podcast. I think we've been dancing for maybe six, 7 months.
6, 7 months.
But guess what? It happened. So happy to have you here today and wanted to learn more and more about you, man.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I met Mike through a networking meeting that he kind of helped lead and stuff like that at Ironside Axe Club. Is what's the name of it? Morning Blend?
The Morning Blend.
The Morning Blend. And met Mike. We kind of gelled right away. Well, I like to think we gelled right away. Let me not speak for Mike. But we kind of hit it off right away, man, and just started the relationship building. He was somebody immediately I knew I wanted to have on the podcast. So I'm super excited about this episode, guys. But before y'all get to know Mike and learn more about him, I got to ask him the icebreaker question. So the icebreaker question number 1 is, if you had any superpower in the world, what would it be and why?
Oh, boy. I would say I would like to have the ability to identify catastrophes and tragedies that are impending for people that they don't know. Obviously, they don't know that it's coming up.
Yeah.
And be able to advert that and let them know what's coming. And so in a way, help them out to not encounter some of the problems that a lot of people do. So
yeah, soften that blow for people.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a superpower.
That is
like yours, like flying or time travel.
Time travel. I want to go back in space. I mean, not space, in time. But yeah, no, that's definitely a superpower. I was thinking when you first said, I'm like, is that mind reading? But no, that's not. That's projecting the future.
Yeah.
You want to be God, Mike? No, I'm kidding. That's good. All right. So we want to know more about you before we get started. So my first question for you is, how did you get into the financial world that you're in? And yeah, just kind of give us your upbringing of how you got to where you are today before we really dive in.
Okay. I was 23 years old. I was working on a job as well as farming with my dad. So, and then I was introduced to a financial services company from a classmate's father, and that was like I said, I was 23, 24 years old, and I was introduced to selling mutual funds and term insurance and stuff like that. And I initially said, I don't have time for this. There's no way, because I was doing those two things. And he asked me again. And I said, no, I just, there's no way. Because he wanted to know if I could share this with other people. And I was like, yeah, it's cool stuff, but I just don't have the time. So he asked me like 3 times, and finally I said, well, yeah, if I believe in it and everything. So the rest is history. So that was approximately 33 years ago.
Wow. That's amazing.
But I'm with a different company.
No, for sure.
Now,
for sure.
Yeah,
but that's a like, you don't, especially my generation, obviously we are up and coming and now starting to get into positions in company where we are management, where you don't see people stick with a career track that long anymore. No. That's awesome. I guess y'all were built a lot different than us. I'll say that.
It's just the times are different, I guess.
So kind of explain on a day-to-day, like kind of what you do in your book of business and things of that sort. How do you help people today?
My goal is actually the business is financial education. So we educate people on getting ahead financially. And so because what happens is most people are working 40 years, they save save as much as they possibly can, and then they retire. And it takes them about 7 years to blow through their 401k, and then shortly after that, they're out of money. And the last 10 years of their life, they're living in poverty.
Yep.
And most people, that's what they're doing. So their money's not lasting long enough, or they haven't saved enough. And it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard. But the concepts that I teach are very simple and basic, and that's what I have a passion about helping people with. So that's for sure. I want to come back to the teaching aspect of it, because that's very key. But I will attest to working with seniors and working with elderly people. The 7 years you're saying that before they run out of money is that's really like a grace period. I've seen multiple people run out of money within a year or two from their 401k, especially with like me selling practically real estate to seniors in my daytime job. It breaks my heart that families like can't afford a quality life on their way out. Like at the end of the day, they just blow through funds. So I'm interested in digging a little deeper there. You can maybe help me in the future get some more people moved into my. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. But as far as the teaching aspect, I know you're very passionate about that, and like I think one of the key reasons why I wanted to interview after meeting you, you would always say about life insurance policies and stuff like that, get rid of it. And I'm like, what is this dude talking about? Like, this makes no sense to me. This is not what I've been told for my entire life. So can you kind of like dive into the details of things that you kind of educate people on when it comes to why their life insurance like isn't a security deposit or just like a safety net that they think, oh, I got this when not life insurance, should I say 401k. I got this for when I'm done. Like this, I'll be good. Well, people need to look at it differently, because they're getting all their financial information from their coworkers, or their parents, and we're led to believe that a 401k is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay. And before 401ks were introduced, people had pensions. And that's where you get a paycheck every month for the rest of your life, which is very similar to Social Security, or if you're a state employee,
disability,
in Iowa, IPERS. You get they pay you a paycheck for the rest of your life, and when you're gone, it's gone. So, but then they pulled away from that. Employers pulled away from that, and 401ks were introduced, which was your money that was going in. Okay, the bulk of it is your money, and if you're fortunate enough to work for a company that has a match, then they'll match some of what your contributions are.
Okay,
and that's a good thing. Okay, I'm not.
Bashing on it.
Bashing on them at all. I think it is a good thing, but it only goes so far. Yeah. Because if you think about a 401k, you're putting money in this account, you're getting a tax deduction for putting that money in. So it's a pre-tax contribution.
And you get taxed when you pull it out.
Yes, because you signed up to take that deduction initially. That means every penny that when you take it out, it is going to be taxed. So in other words, if you have $500,000 in an account at retirement, you don't have the $500,000. Yeah. Okay. It's your name is on the account along with Uncle Sam. Okay.
So you're splitting that profit. So what are some things that let's say I'm a 35-year-old middle class American. What are some things that I can learn about or purchase that I can put money into, and it'll still help gain revenue throughout, but I won't get taxed when I pull it out?
Okay. More importantly, it's about the concepts. It's about not the products, per se, but it's the concepts of what your options are, and how to move forward with that. But a Roth IRA is an excellent example of a place that young people should be putting money in. And, as long as you're working, a Roth IRA would be a good place to put money.
Can you kind of explain a Roth IRA?
Yeah, Roth IRA account is for the two pluses it grows tax deferred.
Okay.
So any money that you put in there, when you take the money out, okay, well, all the earnings and everything, it's going to grow tax deferred.
Okay.
But the key to a Roth is it comes out tax free. So it's very important to accumulate money in accounts that come out tax free.
Okay.
And there's basically only 3 places to do that.
What are those 3 places?
One is a municipal bond fund, which is not super popular, but it's exempt from federal income tax. Okay. Very few people,
Use them.
do that. Okay. The next best thing would be a Roth IRA account. Okay. And the reason to do that is because the government's coming after us for money. Okay. Our tax rates are going to go up. Historically, tax rates are very low right now compared to what they were, 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's a very good chance that when you ask people, where do you think tax rates are going to go, more than likely they're going to go up. Okay. So that means that we need to have money in an account that comes out tax-free. So a Roth is a great example. A Roth, you can put up to $6,000 a year away unless you're over age 50, and then you can do 7.
Okay.
Okay. So the government came up with it, but they limited it. Okay. But still, 6,000 is 6,000.
Yeah.
Okay. If you make too much money, you can't have a Roth, though.
What is that threshold? Do you know what that is?
I don't know exactly what it is but it's real close.
Okay.
It's between 150 and 200,000.
Okay.
Okay. So it's still a big enough threshold that most people can still participate in.
Absolutely.
Okay. And it's also a retirement account. So it's not money that you can typically use right away, which you wouldn't in an investment anyway. But for the most part, you have to wait till 59 and a half to take the money out.
And
there are some other situations where you can take it out early. But
okay. I got one question before you, because you said it was 3. I don't want to knock you off that. But are you able to have multiple Roth IRAs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he just can't go over the 6,000.
Okay. No matter how many you got, like if you got 2, you can only do 3 in that one and 3 in that one.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. So those are 2 of the places to put money. And this is very important. It's one of the most important things I'll probably share with you today is the important. If you walk away with nothing else,
walk away with this.
Try to walk away with this. Make sure you have as much money in an account that comes out tax free as possible.
Okay. That's key.
So you don't want Uncle Sam's name on it. You don't want him telling you what you can and can't do. So that's very important.
Okay.
And
like that.
And the last account is what we call a tax-free retirement account. Okay. And it works just very similar to a Roth IRA account, but it doesn't have the drawbacks. You can put an unlimited amount of money in, and they don't care what you make. You can still put money in, and you don't have to wait till 59 and a half to start touching it. Okay? You can pull it out early. You can use it for your kids' college education. You can use it to pay for your daughter's wedding. You can do all kinds of things like that with it. And
when can you start getting that? Is it an age limit on that, or just whenever if you're working?
There's no age limit.
Okay.
You can do.
What was that name again?
We call it a tax-free retirement account. Okay. And it's just the difference between that and a Roth IRA account would be this. A Roth IRA account, if you died, your beneficiary gets the balance of that account. What's in there? Very simple.
Yep.
Okay. With a tax-free retirement account, your beneficiary would get anywhere between $250,000 and $500,000. And the reason is because it's tied to life insurance. So this is where I lose a lot of people. Okay, the wealthy people love life insurance. Middle income people do not. Okay, that's why a lot of people, cross the street to get to the other side when they see me.
I'm interested. I'm interested. I'm interested in hearing if you have any opinion on it or thought. Why do middle class run from life insurance? Because I'm not sure why.
Well, that's what we're taught. Okay, Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, just
all the financial gurus.
It's not that life insurance is a bad thing,
for sure.
But as far as saving and investing for retirement, it is not an investment. It's something different. Yeah. But it's one of the most important things that people can own is life insurance. It's not the most flashy. It's not fun to talk about. But it's probably the most important.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's just one of the pieces of things, or pieces of my educational backgrounds.
And I don't want to miss this too. I don't want to, because you kind of said it. I didn't want to breeze over it in my brain. So this account, your beneficiary is able to get a certain amount of money from it as well, which is a plus if something happened to you. But also you're able to pull out of this, like for big financial needs. If you,
yes,
wow.
And it's not for everybody.
No, for sure.
You can't just dribble a little bit of money in something like that and expect it to.
Yeah.
So we know ahead of time if it's going to work for people and if it's not. But,
absolutely.
But more importantly, it's what I do is teach people about money. We invite people to dinners, okay, and it's a financial workshop, and we start talking about $5 a day. You know, do you blow $5 a day? You know, most of us do very easily. And
how much was that latte? Starbucks, $6 a day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very basic in where we start. And for example, if you took, we talk about the rule of 72.
Okay. What's that?
You ever heard of that? No?
70-20? No, that's 80-20 rule. No, I'm not sure.
Rule of 72 just gives you an idea how to figure how long it will take your money to double at a certain interest rate.
Okay.
So if you put your money away somewhere at 4%, okay, you take 4, you divide that into 72, and it goes in there. Oh, look at him. He's speechless.
He wanted me to take 4 into 72, 36?
18.
18?
Real
Okay.
close.
Okay. No, I wasn't. But you got a scenario you want to break down for us?
Yeah. So I'm telling you, if you put $5,000 in an account at 4%, you take that 4 into 72, goes in there 18 times. That means it would take 18 years for that 5,000 to double to 10,000. So if you started at age 29, by the time you're 65, you'd have $20,000 in there without touching it. It's just the growth at 4%.
Yeah.
But let's say that you double that return. Okay, let's say you get an 8% rate of return. What do you think that dollar amount would be at age 65? Instead of 20, what do you think it would be?
Hold up, 65.
Yeah, at age 65. So instead,
It'd be 65,000.
No, at age 65.
I'm asking, would it be 65,000? That's my guess.
No, but you're pretty close.
What was it?
And a lot of people think it would just double
To 80.
to 80.
No, that's not how that math works.
Well, 20 to 40. Okay.
Yeah.
It would actually be 80,000. So 80,000, just 4 percentage points. That's not a lot of difference.
No.
But let's say you get a 12% rate of return on your money. So 12 goes into 72 6 times.
Yep.
Okay, so your money's going to be doubling every 6 years compared to every 18. So I'd rather have my money doubling that much quicker. So if you were to average, and this would be over a long period of time.
Absolutely.
Okay, 12% rate of return on your money in mutual fund, ETF, individual stock, or something like that. Since it's doubling every 6 years, that $5,000 would turn into $320,000 at age 65. So the difference between 4 and 12 is a lot of money.
A big difference. And
It's a lot of money.
regular stocks, you're saying it doubles around that 4%, or
No, it's just if you went to the bank and got 4% on something, or insurance company, or wherever.
Yeah.
Just hypothetically speaking, but that's just one of the concepts that people don't know the difference between just a few percentage points and how big a difference that actually makes. So, and Albert Einstein said compound interest, which is what that is. It's like the 8th wonder of the world. Okay, so that was his opinion, but
pretty smart guy.
Yeah,
pretty smart guy. So
yeah, he's well known.
No, yeah, my brain is kind of like just roaming. I'm like, okay, How long did it take you to learn all this stuff, man?
It's not rocket surgery.
It's not, like, because you just explained it to me in a simple format. Like, I'm able to pick up on the concepts and how it worked fast. So I'm like, how long did it take you to just break that down to people?
It's pretty simple. Initially, when I first got started, I was pretty nervous. My hand would shake, and I had to put my pen on the paper, that kind of thing. But again, it's more about the concepts and the principles than it is where your money is at. So let me ask you a question. What do you think's the biggest, the most damaging thing you can do with as far as accumulating money for retirement?
Put it in the account with Uncle Sam's name on it.
Good answer.
I learned that from you. You can't be teaching me and not expect me. But as far as
it's a good answer.
You mean as far as just like you saving money for the future, what is the most damaging thing you can do?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's just save your money and don't invest it. Like
procrastination.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the biggest thing that's going to keep us from accumulating a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Procrastination.
Yeah.
So I think our audience here today is, any people anywhere from, 24 to 35,
yep.
so to speak.
Yep.
Just take advantage of time. Take advantage of time. So it's not necessarily the products or where your money is at. It's your behavior that determines your success. Do you put the money in? Do you not? It's very easy. Do you make it automatic, or not? And I'll give you an example for the young people.
Yep.
Okay. So let's say that we'll use you.
I'm 28 years old. Am I young enough?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are. So let's say.
Wait. He's 24. 25.
Okay. Well, that works too.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you take, say you took $2,000 a year and you started saving it, investing it, and you did that for 7 years, and then life happened and you quit. Okay. But you just left that money in there and you let it grow until you were age 65.
Yep.
So that means you would have put in $16,000 roughly, 6, 7, 8 years of a $2,000 contribution, and you just let it grow, and it grew at a 10% rate of return.
Yep.
You'd have $1,035,000. Okay. So in other words, you start for 7 years.
And you talking stocks? You talking stocks?
No, I'm just saying a hypothetical 10% rate of return.
Got you.
Okay. So let's say I actually didn't do anything. When you started saving that $2,000 a year, I put it off. I procrastinated. I didn't do it. So I didn't do anything for those 7 years. And then finally, 7 years later, I started putting that $2,000 a year away. So I did that all the way to age 65. So I contributed $78,000, and you only contributed $16,000. Who has the most money?
I'm gonna say the smaller number, but I don't know why. So my gut is telling me to say the guy who started early and quit has the most.
Your gut is correct because your money was in there earlier. So my point is, time has more to do with anything.
Wow.
With accumulation than the rate of return or anything on this. So $1 million compared to 883,000. So
wow. So
get started now.
So people sit in the sidelines. I'm sure you have to have those conversations a lot with like, hey, like you got this. Like let's stop sitting in the sideline. Let's play ball. Why do we sit the sideline? Are we like? Is it fear? Is it lack of understanding? We need more teachers, or like, what would you say?
That's very good. I'd say both of those reasons. And it's like going to the grocery store and picking out spaghetti sauce. There's so many choices.
Yeah.
So many choices. I mean, so a confused mind does nothing.
Yeah.
So you just sit there and you don't do anything. And then we also just think that, okay, someday I'll do it, and we just never do. It's just human nature. And with inflation and stuff nowadays, it's everything is so expensive. It's hard to save. So one of the best things I can share with people is pay yourself first.
Wow.
Put yourself ahead of the car payment, the utility bills, groceries. I'm not saying don't do those things, don't pay those things, but make sure you pay yourself before you pay them.
That's huge.
You're much more important than they are.
That's huge. I did just want to just drop in a little message for my listeners. Like, if you take anything, he said this earlier, but I want to stay right here. If you take anything away from this, like, and you got access to the podcast, reach out. I can get you in touch with Mike. But don't sit the sidelines. I feel like that hurt a lot of people so much. I felt victim to that time after time of just waiting on other people or waiting on other things. And like you said, yeah, I think that is more so it too. It's too much food to digest. So if you have any financial questions or anything like that, don't sit aside. Holler at the educator. Don't call me, but if you call me, I can get you in touch with him. But that's really good. I have a question from one of my best friends. I like to get opinions of other young people to ask my guests because I'm like, I can't be thinking I know it all up here. So here's a question from my brother Elijah from, I'm going to say Dallas, Texas. It's a suburb of Dallas. I don't know where you live at. What is the best advice you can give someone who feels like it's too late or that they don't know where to start in becoming more financially knowledgeable and curious?
Well, all you can do is start from where you're at. Okay,
don't compare.
You don't compare. You can't go backwards. You can't. Once the time is gone, it's gone. So you just start with the basics. Most people don't have time in their busy lives to dig into this and figure out how what to do, what not to do. But like I said, it's not that complicated. Really, it really is not. But the financial services industry wants to purposely complicate it because
they don't want you to understand it as well.
They don't want you to understand it, but people that are confused won't do anything. But we also have a tendency to think that the more complicated a product is, the better
it is for us.
The better it is, and that's not necessarily the case.
It's a constant battle versus your brain, man.
Yeah,
it's a constant battle. I think once I figured out, like, just hearing you say that, like, because that was so true for me, like how complicated, the more complicated it is, that's for me. Like, I need to try to understand the surface level so I can get in that. But I think once I understood that my brain is not 100% working for me, it's working for itself, and then me. I kind of like shedded a light on just a couple of decisions me and my wife be making, especially financial ones. It's like, don't sit the sidelines. Like, gosh. But this is a question from me. And I got a question about just the state of the economy. Do you think we are heading to a recession or in a recession now?
Oh, I tell you, I don't know how to answer that question because I'm not an expert. I'm not an economist.
You're a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. So
for sure, yeah.
I know one thing: the market's going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
I know that for a fact. I can tell you that. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I can also tell you it's going to go down.
Mm-hmm. It's going to fluctuate.
It's going to fluctuate, and there's going to be years where it just stays the same too. So, I just know where things cost a lot these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's so. Are we going to get through this? Yeah, we
absolutely
always do. We always have. Who knows how long it'll last? But there are investments out there, places you can put your money that they only go up or they stay the same, and they do not experience any of the downside. So you can still get your money to grow without taking risk. So I think people need to have both.
Yeah.
Have some of those products that I just described, and also have your mutual funds, your ETFs, stuff that your
absolutely
good advisors will put in place for you. So I think it's a good idea. There's no one product that fits everyone.
Absolutely.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's financial situation is very, very, very different.
But given that, it's not real complicated. So.
Also got another question. How important is it to be completely debt free? I want to ask you that because I think some debt is good debt, but they got these financial gurus earlier that we kind of mentioned that's out there teaching people to have no debt, which is actually hurting people who get rid of all their debt. So how important is that?
It depends on what the debt is for.
Okay.
It seems like your mortgage is a
good
debt because it's more of a lifestyle choice than anything.
Absolutely.
And but money that's going towards debt is not going towards you.
You're paying other people instead of yourself.
Yeah. And the idea of paying off all your debt and then starting to invest, In my personal opinion, I think that's very hard to do, because if you've deprived yourself all these years paying off your debt,
You waiting the sidelines.
yes, and guess what? When you get all the debt paid off, what are you going to do? You're going to want to treat yourself and your family. Okay, you're going to want to breathe a little bit. So
I like that.
you're probably not going to take all that money that was going towards debt and invest it. Theoretically, that does make sense, and it would work because you're not paying a bunch of interest that way. But I think once people have that burden taken off their back, they're going to want to treat themselves, and that's just human nature.
Yeah, I think what I'm picking up from you, just listening to you teach and just pour into the conversation, is get in the game. Like at the end of the day, like if you're not in the game, you're hurting yourself no matter where you at. If you able to, $5 a day, get in the game.
Yep, I agree. And one of the last things that, again, no one likes to talk about.
Absolutely.
Okay, but there is a new form of life insurance out there that nobody knows about, and I don't mean new this year. Okay, I mean new like in the past 22 or 23 years.
Wow.
Okay, most of the people that we see that have life insurance, they have what we call death benefit only. So in other words, you do not have access.
That's like my life insurance policy.
Almost everybody's that way.
Yeah.
So, and what that means is you don't have access to that money while you're alive. You just don't. Okay. The newest form of life insurance allows you to have access to that 500,000 or 300,000 or whatever it is, in case you become sick. Typically, heart attack, cancer, stroke, number of other reasons. But those are the big three that hit most of us that we read in the church bulletins and so forth.
Seriously.
That's what happens to most of us, and we're actually 9 times more likely to get sick than we are to die prematurely. Most people don't die prematurely.
Wow.
Okay, and this is a big deal because then it changes your perspective on life insurance, and I think I would rather have access to that big pile of money as opposed to not. So, and it's the same price as if you just bought a death benefit only policy. So it's the same price. So that's one of our passions, is teaching and educating people about what we call living benefit life insurance.
I have one. I think it's funny because I saved this as the last question. I'm gonna ask it still, and then I want you to kind of just give us one last word, one last message from you, and then I'll be respectful of your time and get up out of here. So this funny question that I think it's funny to ask now, but it was a great idea at the beginning. Is now a good time to invest, and why? I think you would answer yesterday to that question. Like, you should have invested yesterday.
Yeah. Again, you just have to start where you are. So
for sure.
Yes, it's always a good time. And I don't know if you're thinking about because the market's down, because the market's up. I mean, it wouldn't matter. You just do it. Okay, you just do it. But the masses typically will not do that. Okay, when there's fear, people are hesitant to invest. But,
Absolutely.
But things are on sale then, so that's when you should. But it's just you just do it no matter what, and you consistently do it. Take the emotion out of it, and apply science to it. So it's just numbers. Take the emotion out of it because that typically hurts us. So.
Yeah. Well, before I let you give your last word, I did want to say I do appreciate everything you came to offer, and also about the company that you work for. What I appreciate about is, like you said, everybody's different. So it's not for everybody, or it is for a lot of people who don't think it's for them. I appreciate the education behind it. That's what I crave. That's what people who listen to this show crave, is the education. So definitely for Fire Rings Financial to have that institute kind of built behind their business module is awesome. So I do applaud that, like, seriously. So, but yeah, you're welcome. But any last, like, one message? You might not have anything. You might have a whole lot that you just want to give before we get up off here.
You had a question earlier about what would you do when it came to investing, and you had questions about what to do, what not to do. This doesn't even pertain to investing. I would suggest people work on personal development.
I love that.
Okay.
In all areas of their life.
In all areas of their life.
I would
Their faith,
completely agree.
Their faith, all of that. And, you know, we're just scratching the surface on our own potential.
Love that.
You know, and I mean, my dream has always been to be able to help as many people as I possibly can, you know, through church, through whatever. Yeah. Okay. And it's still a goal of mine. So I think we need to, I mean, most people, they get out of college or high school, they don't read a book.
Yeah.
We were talking about books
before. Yeah.
Okay. And we don't read a book for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
You know, typically, you know, unless it's, you know, some.
No, you're right.
So personal development, I think, is huge.
Absolutely.
It's huge. I know that doesn't necessarily pertain to what I do, but.
No, but that's a word, especially that's a word that the Minds community pushes. A lot of people learned on the last episode my reading background. Speaking of reading, I graduated college, high school and college. I never read a book in my life. I started reading after college, because I was able to finagle my way through college and squeak by through sports and not understanding the importance of education, which hurt me. So like my reading level was very low, but now that I'm able to read and I read every day and I'm starting to learn, and reading not for everybody. Audiobook may be the way for you, or taking a course that requires a little bit of reading, but not a reading course. The personal development is really important for people to just look at the mirror and stop pointing the finger like, I can't get this opportunity because of this. I can't get this opportunity because of that. When you can focus on yourself. And
blame game.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I love that message, man. You're a God-fearing man. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mike Martin, everybody. This wrapped up another episode of the Minds with Hakeem podcast. Until next time, peace. I hope you guys really enjoyed what Mike had to share with us on this episode of the Minds with Hakeem podcast. I want to give a special thank you if you made it this far in the episode. We really appreciate you on the Minds community. Also, if you enjoyed this episode and feel like, I know a friend who can learn and benefit from this episode, please share the episode with a friend. If you need to get in touch with Mike, you can reach out to the podcast. We'll get you guys in touch just to learn and, kind of go on your own financial journey. Until next time, guys. Peace.